Today, I'm going to start with something very interesting. We won't be doing a kind of meditation like through a song. There is a short video about the love of God and surrendering to God's love with someone that his voice is very interesting, and it helps you to pray. Okay. Today, then we will start by presenting a summary about the second dwelling place. And then today we will be identifying and understanding the third dwelling place and the state of the soul in it. Okay. Then you have some question that helps you summarize what you have learned. It's, if you look at the back of the sheet that I gave you, the question will be there. So you can put in your mind what you might need. And I will be sending you by email this sheet that is the handout for today. It's the summary of what we will be discussing. So before I start, I'm gonna put for you on the chat, okay, the video that we will be watching, so you can watch it with us for the people on Zoom, okay? Thank you. I already provided you on the chat. I will put it back again one more time. What I gave in here to everybody, it's the PDF of the summary of session 8. It's a PDF file. On the second page, you can find also the question that we will be discussing at the end of the session. Going through meditation and contemplation, being transformed through when God speaks to us is what is gonna help us to be strong, to stand when we fall. You know, this is how important it is practicing prayers and meditation and contemplation. You know, I can tell you, like, I passed through many temptations this week, especially yesterday. I remember the hand of God was the hand of Adam and the creation. I told him, God, I need your help. So make me the way you want me to be, so I can be with you in your hands again. We regularly need the strength from him to be strong. And when we put our ears to his heart, which is the scriptures, because he speaks to us through the Eucharist, because it's him giving himself to us. So let's start today. We will be reviewing last session, we discussed in the second dwelling places, the importance of perseverance if one is to reach the final dwelling place. Remember, it's okay to fall, but it's not okay to stay down. So always stand again, put your hand in the hand of the Lord, and he will make you walk even on unsteady land like the water with Peter. You will be fought. There is a battle that you need to pass through, okay? Remember that you have many enemies, your weakness, the devil, and the world. So be strong always. Regularly continue praying. Don't stop. Because this is the sword in your hand. Reading the scriptures, practicing the sacrament. Okay, these are your shield. This is the tools that's gonna heal you, because God is waiting for you there. The importance of taking the right road from the beginning. Okay, always remember who you are. You have your weaknesses, but also you are the son and the daughter of God. Offer a remedy that has proved very efficacious. It's, you know what it is. Never stay down, always stand. Have a group that supports you and pray for you, that helps you. We are one group already. Together we pray for each other. This helps us, you know, to be strong. I would love that we, Angela or Mrs. Tech, any one of you, can you write the name of the people that you can write, the one that are on Zoom, so we can cut them, and before we leave, we withdraw to see each person who is gonna pray during those 3 weeks for whom. So like this will be connected spiritually. Okay, this will be great, I feel. And don't forget to write my name too. I need prayers too. Okay. Yeah, I'm the most that needs prayers. You know, I'm not in a steady land now. I'm still, but I am sure that I try every day to give my hand to the Lord. And I have good news that I might be hired as an adjunct in a university. It's going to be online in a university in Indiana. It's not here. But however, it's going to be online, not in person, which is, I will stay here, of course. So let's continue. So the third dwelling place, it's divided into 2 chapters. The first chapter treats of what little security we can have while living in this exile, even though we may have reached a high state, and of how we should walk with fear. This chapter has some good points to discuss. We will be going through. Chapter 2 continues on the same topic, deals with dryness in prayer, with what, in her opinion, might take place at this stage, how it is necessary to test ourselves, and with the fact that the Lord does try those who are in these dwelling places too. This is a short summary of what we'll be discussing. So the first dwelling places consist in entering the castle. So this is, I'm going through a small review of all what we have learned in a very brief way. The first dwelling places consist in entering the castle, which means beginning the process of knowing oneself and entering a relationship with God. So this is the first dwelling. It's knowing who we are, precious, because we are made on the image and likeness of God. And we have our weaknesses and our strengths. And trying to enter in relationship with God and caring for our souls, which is very precious, not only of our body. And the second dwelling places, it's the second mention, it's the second level of improving ourselves in the spiritual journey. One must engage in battle, struggling against the force of evil. So there is a war that we have to go into to stay strong. We have to resist sometimes ourselves, our weaknesses, and we have to stand when we fall. As John Paul II mentioned, he said, holiness is not about not falling in sin. Holiness is about fighting it, and when you fall, to stand again. This is very important. And in entering the third, one might expect that experience would be one of triumph, of victory and peace. But the asceticism continues, and vigilance and effort are necessary. Teresa speaks of proving one's love, of the risks of wishful, of conceited thinking. Here one passes through a kind of spiritual adolescence. In speaking of this period, Teresa recalls her own bittersweet experience of this stage, lasting in her case about 10 years. So she stayed in the third dwelling place more than 10 years in the dryness of prayers. Okay? From the time of her father's death in 1543, when she was 30 years old, until her conversion in 1554. It was a time filled with uncertainty and back and forth movement. Yet, with the death of her father, she returned to a truth she saw in childhood, that everything is passing. She was convinced. Actually, Saint Therese, when she started her real spiritual journey, she entered first to the convent because she was scared of going to hell. She had the fear of that, and she wasn't living a good life when she was in the convent. She was like, you know, they call them the woman of coffee. They come and gossip, and you know, in the morning on each other. Now I will be highlighting an important point, is the state of the soul in this third mention. Teresa describes persons who have reached the third dwelling places as living commendable lives. She thinks these souls will reach the final dwelling place if they desire it. So when you enter into the third mention, and you have this desire to be in union with God, total union, it's not, you will be able to reach this state. It's not about being in a monastery or anywhere. It's just about being with God and Him pouring His graces on you, each one of you. Then she goes on to explain what this desire must consist of. This desire cannot be a matter of words only. So what next? Souls must undergo many trials, including dryness in prayer. Teresa cautions against impatience in these good desires. The fact of their exemplary life can, in some cases, be an impediment in that they may begin to think they deserve God's favor. You know, sometimes where we feel we are special, we think we deserve everything, and we have to remember we are sinners but loved and forgiven. We have to look toward ourselves. This is spending time in knowing ourselves. This is very important for us to grow deeper in the spiritual journey. We have always to remember that we are sinners but loved and forgiven and precious. Okay, all these things combined together, because there is a risk in becoming arrogant. We start to judge others and think we are better because we have like good relationship with God. And I see this in many parishes where I go, that people that are engaged a lot in the parish, they become more judgmental. They say these are not our category. Yeah, that, you know, if we forget what God is doing with us there, we are together to help in the salvation of humanity, not in judging them. Yeah, you know, one day when we will go to heaven, as if we were a real apostle and followers of Christ, we will judge humanity, but not now. We will be judging with the love and fire of God, which is full of mercy. Let's continue. I'm always grateful for any question that is like a testimonial that help others to be like, have a deeper understanding of things. So, souls must undergo many trials, including dryness in prayer. Teresa cautions against impatience in these good desires. The fact of their exemplary lives can, in some cases, be an impediment in that they may begin to think they deserve God's favor. Teresa thinks undue concern about dryness is a sign of lack of humility. We must prove our love by deeds that consist not of works, but of the determination of our wills. Renouncing possessions is less important than humility, expressed in the gospel judgment that we are unuseless servants. So whatever we do, even if we forsake, you know, even St. Paul speaks about that in his letter, the epistle to the Corinthians, when he says that if I gave all my belonging and even myself to be burned, and I do not have love, I'm not doing anything. I'm like a bell that is empty, that bangs, you know. We should not ask for favors. She trusts that God will help us understand that out of dryness may come humility and not disquiet. Where humility is present, God will give peace and conformity to His will. So you will be one, you know, with Him. Teresa observes that we are fonder of consolation than we are of the cross. We are always like this. And we need God's love and God's heart, God's hand always to strengthen us and help us to carry our crosses in life and present them with Him to the Father for the salvation of the souls. And we need His help with that. We are not capable of doing it alone. I know a famous priest, he's an exorcist priest. They ask him always, why do we have to suffer sometimes? And he gives this image. Sometimes we have spiritual cancer. And the only way for us to be saved, we have to enter and do surgery. We have to have a surgery. So this cancer may be cropped, maybe moved from us. It's the only way for us to be saved. And I can tell you this, what Saint Teresa of Avila said one time. She said that once she was going to establish a new convent somewhere, and something happened to her. She was ill for a while and she couldn't go. And she sat like mumbling and saying, I'm going to do something for you, and you stopped me. What's going on with you? I know. He answered her and said, this is how I treat my beloved. He said, this is why you don't have many. Sometimes we are not ready, but when we start to pray, it's like he started to hold our heart and transform us in a way so we can understand what we are passing through and be stronger.